everyone to today's Paige. I'm your host, Paige Kornblue, and today we are highlighting a marvelous mountain destination and a couple of the Southeast's most celebrated occasions. We travel to Highlands, North Carolina to put it on your travel to-do list if you haven't done so already. And for those of you who have been, to fill you in on the best places to stay and best things to do, including Highlands Food and Wine and Bear Shadow Music Festivals. I'm thrilled to have two guests with me today who know the area. They know these events very well. I have Reid with us and Jack Austin. Hi guys, welcome.
Hello.
Good to be here. Thanks.
Oh, you're so welcome. I can't wait to talk about all of this with you. Reid is the founding partner of 11 Events. That's the company that produces both of these festivals we're going to talk about today. She's created unique brand experiences for the festivals, as well as clients like American Eagle Outfitters, Verizon, MTV Asia, MTV India. She's produced events featuring Eric Clapton, Stevie Wonder, and Destiny's Child, just to name a few. And can't wait to hear about the lineup for the festivals as well on the music front. So hi, Casey.
Very exciting. Hello.
And also Jack Austin's with us. He's the general manager of Half Mile Farm. That's one of 3 properties within the Old Edwards Hospitality Group. These are some beautiful properties in the area, wonderful places to stay. Jack's a board member and former chair of the Highlands Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center. He helped start Highlands Food and Wine and is now part of the festival board. So Jack, I want to start with you. You know, like I mentioned earlier, I said, you two aren't busy or anything right now, are you?
Highlands has become kind of a year-round destination anymore. So we pretty well stay busy, but you're right. Summer is peak season and we're rolling right into fall, which just continues it. I think September is probably my favorite time of year here. So we're right on the cusp of it.
Wonderful. Well, take us there. Tell us first a little bit about what I like to say, the magic of the mountains.
Well, you know, sometimes I say Highlands-Cashiers, we're not near anything, but we're not far from a lot of things. So we get a lot of our guests from all over the Southeast, Birmingham, Mobile, certainly Atlanta, Greenville, Spartanburg, Columbia, Charleston, Charlotte, Knoxville, Nashville, and of course, Florida. And you can understand, having grown up in the Southeast, I understand very well the appeal. I mean, we woke up this morning to a typical maybe 58, 60 degree morning, and it'll probably top out today somewhere in the low 70s. And it's bright and sunny and could not ask for a prettier mountain day. But we have 4 seasons here. They're all very distinct, but they're all very relatively mild. Yep, winter gets a little bit long. We get some snow here, enough to enjoy it, but not enough to shut things down, at least not in this part of the mountains. And so it's really a 4-season destination to get away from the busyness, the hustle and bustle of the cities.
Of life. And something for everyone, really, right?
It really is. And I think sometimes people come up here and they don't realize how much they needed that break until they got it. You know, Half Mile Farm especially, I say it's not a place to do, it's a place to be. And some of the happiest people I know are ones I greet in the morning having coffee by the fire. And I say, well, have you got big plans for the day? And they go, nope, not a thing. And that's exactly how we want it.
Perfect. That's perfect. Tell us about the property and the other 2 as well within your group.
Well, Old Edwards Hospitality Group, as you mentioned, is comprised of Old Edwards Inn and Spa, a Relais and Chateau property downtown, full service restaurants, beautiful destination spa, multiple pools. 200 Main is what we refer to as our boutique motel. It's an economically priced way to stay right in downtown Highlands, but still have access to Old Edwards amenities. And Half Mile Farm is just about a 5-minute drive from the heart of downtown out Mirror Lake Road onto Hicks Road and then into the drive at Half Mile. And it's 15 acres of rolling grass, a lake, beautiful flowers, and an old 1880s farmhouse that's the heart of the property. It is probably the most popular activity is to sit on the porch, sip a cocktail, and look out at the lake.
What more do you need, right?
Right. But you still have
Beautiful.
access to all the Old Edwards amenities. You can go
That's
downtown for
wonderful.
dinner or spa appointments or go to the Old Edwards Club for golf. So it's a very nice blend of both worlds.
And, people get confused as the mountain range is there. It's the highest crest of the North Carolina Plateau in the Southern Appalachians. We'll talk about the Smokies, which are right nearby, right? And that's why everybody calls it the Plateau, correct? Am I right?
It is. I mean, you sort of, you drive, coming from any direction, you'll drive up steeply. But you'll get to what is called the Highlands-Cashiers Plateau, and it's still rolling and hilly, but there are no high peaks above it. You're not from here, you're not looking up at anything. You go to the mountains and you're kind of looking down, and the best views are out across the South Carolina and Georgia Piedmont, right off the Blue Ridge Escarpment, which is also part of the popularity of it for anybody coming from the Southeast. It's the first mountains you get to coming up from the Southeast.
Yeah. So many places to hike and lots of fun to be had. Casey, speaking of fun, let's bring you in here. Now we've explained the area for those who aren't familiar with it. And in the fall and the spring, you have some amazing events. You've got Highlands Food and Wine and Bear Shadow, and your team helped bring it to the area. So tell us in a nutshell what you've got going on.
Yes, this will be our 7th year of Highlands Food and Wine. Much in part to our friends at Old Edwards and Jack Austin, who were visionaries in helping create this festival. Originally designed to bring a positive economic impact that was typically a shoulder season. As Jack mentioned, Highlands doesn't really have as longer shoulder seasons anymore because of its popularity. But Highlands Food and Wine was designed for the second weekend in November to provide a boost for stakeholders like restaurateurs, retailers, our lodging partners, and invite people up to Highlands to experience it anytime, not just in the summer or during leaf season. So this will be our 7th year. We were dark in 2020, but we were thrilled to come back last year and very excited for this year. It's 4 days, second weekend in November, the 10th through the 13th, comprised of 5 signature events, all in different locations happening each day. And each one has a unique flavor, personality, blend of music, of beverages, and great live music. Those 3 things, which are not unique to our festival, but I do feel like we do it in a special way. The first reason is for the setting of Highlands, because there's nowhere like it. And second, I think all of our events feel really high touch, VIP. None of them are so large where you don't feel like you're really immersed in it. And I think that's what people enjoy.
Yeah, I was going to say what makes it so unique. And there's your answer. The size and the location and the combination of all that everybody that works on it brings together to this one. Kind of, I'm sure makes it stand out and want people to come return. Yeah,
it really is. I think all those things, like you mentioned, kind of create this perfect recipe, no pun intended. You can feel like you're up close and personal with the talent, whether you're talking to a great regional chef who just maybe won a James Beard Award to a musician, right there that you may not be able to see in such an intimate setting. And I think people have really yearned for that, and we have a special niche. We have, as Jack said, many great drive markets, and people are really traveling from far away just to come to this for the weekend. It's a great getaway, a great adult getaway, and people have put it on their calendar year after year. We're very lucky that we have a great kind of word of mouth campaign going. So much so as we sold out in just a few minutes back in June. So
congratulations. And thanks for those listening that wanted to go this year, but you have a wonderful newsletter and newsletter via email that alerts everybody of when to get those tickets so you can put it on your radar for years to come, which is very helpful and good. The Highlands Food and Wine team. Jack, when you think of this event, I mean, 6 years ago you started it, and just to see it now, I'm sure it just keeps getting better.
It's exceeded all my expectations, and I think that of most people in the town. It would not have happened without Casey and with 11 events. Sometimes we say it's Casey's vision. We all just scramble around trying to make it happen. But it is all the things that Casey just said. I'm a music fan, and I've been going to concerts my whole life, and I think I've seen more great musical acts in the 7 years of Highlands Food and Wine right here in this little town than I've seen combined in the rest of my life. And the cool thing is, you get to see them up close and personal, along with the great chefs, wine purveyors, things like that. They're just right there. I mean, there's nobody that can't get up close to the stage or actually shake hands with some of the culinary talent. And it's all in beautiful venues. Like Casey said, it was designed to showcase downtown Highlands, and that's what it does. It used to be, I've been with Old Edwards for 12 years now, and in the early days, man, when the last leaf fell in late October, everybody left. Residents, visitors alike, and it got very quiet. So this was a way to bring people back in to sort of stretch out the season a little bit more, and it has done that in spades. We really don't think of it in terms of seasons so much anymore. It's a great, I just mentioned to you earlier, September is one of my favorite months. It's like summery afternoons and fallish nights. Then we get October, when the leaves change color and it really does get crisp, and there are fires in the fireplaces. Well, typically by the time Highlands Food and Wine rolls around, most of that color is gone, but there's a quality of light in the air. And I always think of it as a great excuse for people to break out their fall fashions. I mean, it's kind of neat to wander around downtown and see people really dressed up and looking cool. This is the first chance that Southerners will have had to put on some wool sweaters and scarves and things like that. And it's kind of a fun see and be seen weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. I can imagine why the Floridians flock there, because we don't get to wear that stuff much. So it's a pleasure to be able to do so. What's the music vibe in terms of like the bands? How do you explain and talk about the difference between the ones that attend Highlands or perform Highlands Food and Wine and Bear Shadow in the spring?
I think there's a lot of similarities. I mean, and we have really all kinds of genres play. And we have everything from Americana to jazz. We've had Mavis Staples and Blind Boys of Alabama. We've had gospel, so kind of all genres. And it's just thinking about kind of what you want the vibe of that event or day to be like. So it really has covered all genres over the years. We've had, Amos Lee, we've had Robert O'Keefe, we've had St. Paul and the Broken Bones. So we've really, like Jack said, been able to have these fabulous bands up close and personal in this incredible mountain setting. And so I think, again, our fans make that emotional connection of not just the music, not just the food, not just all the beverages, but it's putting that all together and truly creating that unforgettable experience that you can't have anywhere else. And that's what we try to think of each year when we're planning, kind of all of those touch points. So we kind of think about it holistically from the minute they walk in to the art on their wristbands, to the art they see on the stages, those experiential pieces. We try to make that all cohesive to just create that really memorable weekend.
And you have the chefs that are local, but also regional that come in, right? And,
yes, for food and wine we do. I tell you, Highlands itself has fantastic restaurants, many of which have won awards, including Wine Spectator Awards. So, you know, again, Highlands Food and Wine, while we bring in outside chefs, it's really all about highlighting the Highlands as a culinary destination itself. So we're really fortunate that many of the local restaurants participate in our events, including Old Edwards Group's restaurants like Madison's and 465 and Half Mile Farm. So there's a really good array of restaurants. And then we do have regional chefs from all over coming in, from Wilmington, from New Orleans, from Raleigh and Charlotte and Charleston. And they participate in each of the events each day. Again, each event kind of has a different vibe.
Great, great. Jackie, doing any cooking this year?
Only at home.
Okay, all right. You'll just be tasting the wine, right? Running around, I'm sure.
I'll be tasting plenty of wine and eating plenty of good food. And I'll tell you right now, insider's tip: pace yourself.
That would help on all of the festivals, right? Across America. Pace yourself when you're at these wonderful events.
Yeah.
If you make it to Sunday's event, it's worth it, but you do have to pace yourself.
Best advice. And the proceeds benefit some of your local scholarships, correct? And the park, Founders Park. That's
right. Highlands Festivals itself, so the owner of Bear Shadow and Highlands Food and Wine is actually a 501c3. So a lot of people don't know that. So our job is really to market Highlands as a year-round destination with these events. But within that, we like to give back to the local community and give back to causes that align well with the brand. So for Highlands Food and Wine specifically, we have created an endowment at the Culinary Institute of America, named for Louis Osteen, who was a dear friend and a wonderful chef. His wife, Marlene Osteen, sits on our board. And so there's a scholarship in his name at CIA that gives preference to folks from the Highlands-Cashiers Plateau and surrounding areas if they applied. Anyone can apply, but it gives preference to folks from there that might want to study the culinary arts. So that endowment, once we complete it, will live in perpetuity, and that scholarship will always be there. And then we also enjoy Kelsey Hutchinson Founders Park. So we are glad to give some funds to them as well for the upkeep and maintenance of the beautiful park right downtown that houses some of our events.
Okay, wonderful. Very, very good. Another place to stop and see when there. Casey, what do you love about the area? I know you get to travel and work on different projects, but this one's near and dear to your heart too, I'm sure. But what do you love when you're able to be there putting on these festivals?
Yeah, I mean, there's some nostalgia to it because I grew up going there to the area when I was young in the summers. So there's definitely nostalgia. I would say, I mean, the cooler temperatures are wonderful, the hiking, the waterfalls, but I mean, there's just a personality about Highlands and the people and the friends that we have there that are like family at this point. So there's really nowhere else like it that I've been. And kind of the mix of folks who have been there for generations, and then the folks that may have a second home or come there just for the weekend or just for the festival even, really kind of just creates the best vibe. I can't really articulate it too much. It's just something you have to experience.
Jack, you have a long history in the area as well. You've been there quite a while and at different stops within the area, so you know many different, I guess, cabs and roads and Cashiers and Highlands. Tell us a little bit about it if you can quickly.
Well, Casey just mentioned hiking and fly fishing and all of those wonderful outdoor activities. We have all of that, but a lot of places in the Southern Appalachians do. I think the Highlands-Cashiers Plateau especially has a certain affluence and sophistication that is undeniable. I mean, we have the list of Wine Spectator awarded restaurants grows every day. This area has become, somebody described it as the Hamptons are to New York, Highlands-Cashiers are to like Atlanta and other metropolitan areas in the Southeast. It's up in the mountains. It definitely has a very Southern feel. And the history goes way back there. I think you even mentioned Hampton at some point, and you mentioned Fairfield, Sapphire Valley.
Yeah, I grew up going
you
there.
visited growing up. Yeah. Lake Toxaway, a lot of these places have 100-year plus history. And Half Mile Farm was a farmhouse from the 1880s. But you're not going to rough it when you come up here. It is first class, world class, shopping, dining, entertainment, frankly, at a level unexpected of a small little town in the mountains.
How are you, both of you in your circles there at work, doing post-COVID? We're still in COVID, but from the beginning, I know it was tough on everybody, your industries included. How is it now?
Well, yeah, Casey can speak about the festivals bounce back, but I can tell you, even with a 6-week total shutdown back in 2020, our business, not just for Old Edwards, but for the area in general, just boomed. I mean, all of the things that made city life attractive at one point. I mean, proximity to shopping, dining, clubs, bars, restaurants, all of that stuff, all of a sudden became a detractor. And people really wanted to be in a place that they perceived of as healthier. I used to tell the staff, when people were coming, especially during the height of COVID, I said, you got to realize our lifestyles have not been upended to the degree that the lifestyles of people who live in cities have been. And I mean, the kind of things that we do all the time are the kind of things that they wanted to get away and do. So none of us we all wish that COVID had not happened, but our area actually has probably benefited from it. I mean, the occupancy rates are sky high. The real estate is hot right now. And it's people who, can get away and work from home remotely. COVID told them, made them realize that was a possibility. But also, it just felt safe and comfortable. There was fresh air and there was elbow room, and so in a way I feel guilty saying it, but I think it's been a boon for us.
Yeah.
COVID
you're
COVID
sold
was
out.
not a boom. It was not a boom for the events industry.
Right.
But we were the first to go and probably the last to come back. but we are back. And what I can say is that, you know, we wouldn't be here without our friends in Highlands, who, while we had to go dark for Highlands Food and Wine 2020, you know, we were already concepting Bear Shadow before that happened. And with the cancellation of Food and Wine, it really expedited our creation and launch of Bear Shadow in the spring, which we were actually the very first music festival, albeit boutique, to go during COVID, when things opened up in April of 2021. A lot of our artists that performed, it was the first time they had performed in almost 2 years during COVID. There were tears from artists, tears from our sound guys, tears from our fans to be in a live event setting, even though we were in pods, and we were following a lot of precautions. And all of that to say, not only our board and our friends in Highlands, but also our fans who agreed to roll over their tickets and not demand refunds, but they believed in our festival, the feelings that they got at our festivals, and they stuck with us for Bear Shadow and for Food and Wine 2021. And so, again, I think to Jack's point, there is a real market and niche now for festivals that aren't 10,000 people, 30,000 people. There's certainly still a market for that. But I think there's a whole group of people that want to have, you know, kind of a more elevated, sophisticated experience, still have all the fun things that you get at a music or food and beverage festival, but do it in a smaller, more high touch way. And I hope we're delivering.
Yeah. What are the sizes of the two festivals about?
So during Highlands Food and Wine, the sizes of the events range from 500 people to our biggest is about 1,100. The 1,100 person is outdoors on Main Street. So you feel like there's a lot of room there. For Bear Shadow, we have 2,500 because we're on a farm. So it's outdoors and there's lots of, it's 150 acres. So lots of room to enjoy. And again, you know, you feel like it's full and you feel like you see all your friends, but you're not in a sea of thousands and thousands of people.
Got it. Jack, I read a quote of yours. If it's not good for Highlands, it's not good for Old Edwards or Half Mile, I'm sure. And the reverse of that is true. And, you know, I paused for a minute. I said, if all hospitality teams were thinking that way, we'd be in really good places on every vacation. And I love that. And I imagine when we all experience your destinations, we'll get a feel for that too.
Well, you will, and it is true. I mean, the Old Edwards organization occupies a big footprint, literally and metaphorically in Highlands. And so I think that gives us a responsibility, an obligation to make sure that our goals dovetail. It's one reason why I enjoyed being on the Highlands Chamber Board of Directors, because I knew that the Chamber Board and Old Edwards were working toward the same goals, same vision. And I think they have come together in Highlands Food and Wine and Bear Shadow in a more substantial way than anything else I can think of, than anything else I could have imagined.
Real quick, inside scoop here, any times of the year or any special tips in getting good rates at your properties there that people should know? How do we score the, you know, because they go quickly. I know that.
Well, that's actually a good point, you know, and anybody who's interested in coming for Bear Shadow weekend next April or Highlands Food and Wine next November, really probably should go ahead and look at booking accommodations, because they do sell out well in advance. Absolutely get on the website so that you can be first in line to get tickets. And in terms of great deals on rates for Old Edwards properties, we would probably rather focus on value for your money. But I can tell you rates do lower in the wintertime, January, February, March, even April. Midweek is a better time to come in that regard than on the weekends. Go to the websites, get on the mailing list. Keep your eyes and ears open for any special deals we might have. They don't come often, but occasionally they will.
And they have
you,
their own incredible culinary, and music series there at Old Edwards. So they have incredible special events all the time, year round.
yes, and a beautiful place to just allow the pause, right? Like you said, sometimes you don't want to leave, and sometimes you'll plan full days and lots to do there, which is what is so much fun. Bear Shadow tickets, when do those go on sale? When do we snatch those, Casey?
We hope to have that on sale and announce the lineup at Food and Wine this year. So looking at the weekend of November 12th, we will announce the exact on sale date soon, but we're going to start kind of waking her up, as we say, Bear Shadow, and announce the lineup at Food and Wine.
Great. How can everybody connect with both of you and your team? The events, what are the websites? I'll put them on my website as well.
So for Highlands Food and Wine, they can visit highlandsfoodandwine.com. And for Bear Shadow, it's bearshadowNC.com. And you can reach us anytime at just info@highlandsfoodandwine.com. It will go to us as far as the festival.
And for Old Edwards, I mean, it's oldedwardsinn.com. Or you can reach the Half Mile site through that organization website, or you can go directly to halfmilefarm.com.
And you can, I'm sure the same applies to Old Edwards, but all three sites have signups for newsletters that provide the most up-to-date information on events and happenings and rates and things like that. So that's the best way to stay in touch and get the latest information and scoop about what's coming up.
And I thought of this earlier when we were talking about the types of musical acts we had. Bear Shadow and Highlands Food and Wine have great Spotify playlists.
That's true.
I mean, that's our go-to for a get-together at our house, is just put on that playlist.
I love it.
Yeah, there's the best of that's out there now. We'll be happy to share those links with you if you want to share those with your listeners. But yeah, it's a great mix of all sorts of music.
Wonderful. Got a good feel for it all and continue it throughout the year as we continue to celebrate. So thank you. I will put those on my website. That's, of course, paigekornblue.com. I always say Paige with an I and Kornblue with a K. And we'll share all your links and whatnot. Thank you both for joining me. I really appreciate it. I feel like took everybody there for those who are not so familiar with the area, and it's a must do on their travel list for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you in November. I
will be there. Highlands Food and Wine. I can't wait. Everybody, you can connect with me at paigekornblue.com and on Instagram at paigekornblue. And also, please leave a review, follow, share, like this podcast, Today's Page. Find it wherever you find your favorite shows. And remember, life is short. Take the trip, buy the shoes, eat the cake, drink the wine. Until next time, everybody, cheers.